So assignment 8 is this. And this is a very common program to make. It's been done in a variety of languages. And this is actually used with something called a web spider to extract email addresses from the web to use for spam. So this is half of that. This is taking text and getting the email addresses out of it. I'm actually going to show you how to create a web spider in the next few weeks. So you'll actually be able to create a program that can pull up web pages and look for text on those web pages and follow links and stuff like that. So this is just half of that. And all we're doing here is we're taking some text that I'm going to give you. You're going to find the email addresses in that text and pull them out. Put them in a list. So how do we do that? You all know an email address when you see one, right? Would you feel real confident that if I showed you an email address, you could recognize it pretty easily? Why? What's an email address got? The @ sign, right? The @ symbol. So we got an email address. They take all the pens away from me. Oh, there they are in the box. I'll get those later if I don't slip on them. So, but that's a problem because what's that? Is that an email address? What could it be? Could be my Instagram. I can't remember. I don't think it is my Instagram. Don't be friending me on Instagram. I won't do it. Just kidding. It's not. But it's not an email address. So the @ symbol is not enough. Do we agree on that? Everything with an @ symbol is not necessarily an email address. So tell me more. What about bmosley@sbc.net? Or if I have bill@bmosley.com. Those are valid email addresses. They have a dot. Okay, where's the dot? Where can the dot be before the @ symbol? My email address is bill.mosley@gmail.com. So I can tell you, you can have one before. You have to have a dot after. But can an email address look like this? Is that legal? No, because I don't have the domain name, right? A email address must have a qualified domain name. A qualified domain name has to have at least two parts to it. It has the top level domain, which is .net, .com. There's a million of them now. Used to be .net, .com, .org, .gov, right? Pretty much. Now it's like .me, .xxx, who knows what that is, all kinds of things, right? .art, .design, .ai, so, and .edu, of course. So that it has to have a top level domain, which is the last part of it, .com. And these used to have to be 2 or 3 letters, but now they could be much longer. But we have to have a dot and something at the end of it. It must have something here. That's called the domain name. It must have that. It can be anything. It can be any length. The domain name can include hyphens, dots, letters, and numbers. That's legal for a domain name. So it can be hyphens, dots, numbers, and letters in here. Any combination, any length, any number of dots. When I first started at BC, my email address was bmosley@bc.cc.ca.us. The stupidest thing ever. But BC, Bakersfield College, .cc, Community College, .ca, California, .us, United States. Yeah. Thank God we got bakersfieldcollege.edu. Okay, so before the domain must be the @ sign. That's the center of the universe when it comes to email. I must have something after it. I must have something before it. So what is this called? This is the username. And it literally, when email started, guess what year email was invented? Just guess a year. What year do you think email was invented? 2000? Any other guesses? 80, 96? 1971, people. Email is old. It is not high tech. It's old. Email was invented in 1971, and this used to be the username, and this used to represent the computer that they worked on, where their email was sent. So it was actually used to find the computer that their email was physically delivered to. That's how it used to work. Okay, so the username. Username, same rules. Cannot start or end with a dot. And this cannot start or end with a dot. So you cannot have a dot adjacent to the @ symbol. Those are the email rules. Now, using the stuff that we just learned today, if I show you a string, could you devise some code that would tell me whether or not it was an email address? I think you probably could, if you think about it. It's just a puzzle, right? But here's a hint. Here's a hint. We know that this character cannot be a dot either way, right? We also know that there are no spaces anywhere in the email address. Not okay. As soon as you hit a space, you're done. As soon as you hit something that is not one of these characters, you're done. Right? So we know where the email address ends because as soon as you hit a character that doesn't belong in the email address, you stop. So it makes it really easy because what I can do here is I can take this, I can split this into two pieces, the front half and the back half. So the back half now would consist of the domain and the top level domain, the domain name. And all I have to do is go character by character, one at a time, and say, is this a legal character? Is this a legal character? And I just keep going until I hit something that's not a legal character, and I stop. And that part becomes the back half of the email address. I cleaned it. Because I might have an email address at the end of a sentence where there's a period after the email address. If I'm writing it in text, if I'm like writing somebody and I'm saying my email address is bill@bmosley.com, and I put a period after that because it's the end of a sentence. When I grab that, that might be stuck onto the end of the email address. So I have to, if the last character is a period, I have to get rid of that. On the front half, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go character by character, except to make it easy on myself, I'm going to take the front half and I'm going to reverse it, because then I can go this direction, which is the easier way to do it. When I loop, I can use a for loop and say for each letter in this. And then once I've cleaned it, I just flip it back. So that is the method, also known as the algorithm, for cleaning an email address and making sure that it is an email address. Right away, if I give you a bunch of words, so here's A8. Let's open that up.